Hi, I'm Danica Tormohlen here at the DMC Network Exchange at the Fairmont Sonoma and in California. And I'm joined with Josh DeSilva, and he's with DeSilva Meeting Consultants, and he's based in Hawaii. And we're just going to chat with him a little bit about what is going on since the wildfires in Maui.
Great. Thanks for having me. Josh DeSilva. I own a full service DMC in Hawaii based on Maui. And for anybody that's looking for some updates, it's August 1st today. We're coming up a week from today, will be 1 year since the devastating fires in Lahaina. And at this event, I've had a lot of planners asking me about how the island is healing, how we're feeling, what the general vibe is on bringing people back to the islands. Just wanted to give everybody an update and let you know that the recovery process is in effect. Lahaina won't be usable for a while. However, with that said, the island is absolutely welcoming groups back. We've got West Maui is reopened now. The roads are open to get out to the resort areas of Ka'anapali, which include the Westin, the Hyatt, the Sheraton. There's also the Ritz-Carlton Kapalua out there. And of course, for anybody who's been following this, the entire area of Wailea on Maui was never really affected by the fire structurally. All the fun things that you could always do on Maui, the boat trips, the snorkels and whale watches, the zip lines, rainforest waterfall tours. Many of the venues and restaurants have reopened now. We've managed to successfully operate a number of programs over the last few months, going back as far as January. Surveys are coming back strong. People are having a lot of fun, and really important to make sure that people who are considering coming to Maui know how much the people of Maui appreciate the economic input that brings back to our islands. The staff that are serving you, despite the tragedy, are really grateful that you're there. They're happy to serve you, and the aloha is alive and well. So, come on out.
That is great to hear. I can't believe it's been a year now since the
Yeah.
devastating fire. What were some of the groups that have met? Give us an idea about size and
Great.
type.
Yeah, so the January program we had out in Kaanapali was for an international group in the farming and agricultural industry. They brought 300 people out, participated in all the typical activities you'd think that you could do on Maui, really. The one thing, in full transparency, is that Lahaina itself is still a no-go. They've completed the toxic debris, pulling off all the soil and everything, and they're just starting to give the building permits, and people are starting to rebuild. So Lahaina Harbor is not usable, just on a side note there, but that doesn't mean that you can't still snorkel and whale watch. They're loading out of Malaya Harbor or right off the beach on Ka'anapali, so all the fun ocean activities are accessible. That group did a number of off-site dinners. We did a dinner at a private estate in an area called Oluwalu. Arrivals, departures, some give back. We recently had a group in Ka'anapali as well back in June, and those people were so great. They came out, they donated to the Maui Food Bank, they donated to the Maui Recovery Fund through some CSR and team building events that we coordinated for them. Typical incentive, they did all the beautiful entertainment and decor activities, and they were just such a wonderful group. And I think they really impacted the energy of the island. I think they donated over $20,000. Kudos to Rarig. So thank you. Yeah, but and we continued all the way through this with working with groups in Wailea as well. Maui's a really large island when you think about it, 729 square miles, and as tragic as losing Lahaina, which was really a lot of the heart and soul of Maui in a lot of ways for a lot of people. There's so many areas that were unaffected and so many beautiful places that you can still go and again support our island. So it's great.
Wonderful. And then what's the plan? Do you know anything about the plans for rebuilding Lahaina? What's the prognosis?
Yeah, it's happening in stages. I think the biggest challenge right now that the island is facing is over 3,000 residences were lost. There is some displacement that's still happening. For those that have been following this, a lot of the people that lost their homes were being housed graciously by the hotels. And so that era is just winding down now. The last of the people that have been staying in the hotels have had enough time now. A year later, most of them have found other housing. And there's also been some countywide policies where they're allowing what we call ohanas or accessory dwellings in areas where they didn't used to. So people have built spaces, they've created spaces, and even from a personal standpoint, we took what was an old wash house and turned it into a usable space as a little studio for somebody who was affected by the fires. So
at your own home?
At my own home. We've really pulled together as a community, and the There are still things that need to be solved and challenges, but we were definitely moving forward a year later. The banyan tree has survived and it's regrowing, and it's become a symbol for us of the regrowth and rebirth. What is Lahaina going to look like in a couple of years, I feel, is really anyone's guess, because a lot of what burnt down were personal residences as well as the commercial center. But how these people want to rebuild their homes, we'll know when they start building them, right? So the first building permits are being handed out last month, where the first structures are really starting to get framed probably within the next month or two. And I have a feeling it's going to start really rapidly rebuilding over the next few years. So yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for the update on what's going on. You're right. It's a big island. There's plenty of other areas that were not impacted. And it's good to know that the people there are want tourists, and that groups can even give back when they're there.
We really encourage that, because just the fact of somebody committing to bringing a group is showing that faith and that generosity and that belief, that aloha spirit and that service of ho'okipa and service is alive in there. And there is certainly still some sadness in our hearts, but the best way to get over that is to continue to build the island back up.
So, did you have groups in the back half of last year that had to cancel or?
Yeah, from a personal standpoint with our organization, we had 4 groups that were probably within 4 to 6 weeks after the fires. And of those 4, 1 moved to Oahu and still operated. 1 was in Wailea, still operated. The other one moved to a year later, so they still came. And only 1 of the 4 groups actually did a full cancel and not a rebooking. So for us, that was how we got through it. And we're really grateful we still got to operate those other 3. Yeah.
Personal impact to you too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate the update, Josh.
Yeah, we appreciate having the chance to share that. Come on over.
I will.